Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today on Motub Cycles, what we're going to do is we're going to go over an oil change, um, just the basics of it. It's not a very hard job. If you've never changed your oil before and this is your first bike and you would like some instructions, this would be a good place to start. We'll go over the things we're going to need and how to get it done. So let's go ahead and jump on in and see what we're going to need. All right, we're going to go over the things that'll make this job a lot easier. I went ahead and laid everything out. Before I do any of my jobs, I try to prep and plan, and makes it easier for me. So I got the old gloves on. I kind of recommend those. A lot of people don't want to use them. That's fine. It's your choice. It's just as a little safety message. Over the years of doing a lot of hard work on cranes and military, I've learned that those chemicals do absorb into your skin, and they do get in and get to your kidneys and all kinds of stuff. So let's keep in mind safety first, all right? I don't really preach a lot because I figure that we're all grown people out here. We know what's right and what's wrong, and what you probably should or should not do. So let's go ahead and start it off. The first thing we're going to use is the Harley Davidson. They call it a general service kit. It goes up many different miles. There's our part number on it. I don't know, it kind of looks backwards. If it is, it's the video, sorry. Another thing we're going to need is we're going to want to get us a 3/8 drive ratchet. And I got a really long 3/8 drive extension, and what that's for is this is for our oil filter wrench, I guess, cap filter wrench, to remove your oil filter. So with that, we're going to need a new filter. There's no part number on it, really. Just go to Harley, tell them what you're working on, and they'll get the right filter for you. This one, it's chrome, and I thought this year I'd go a little bougie instead of getting the black. Another thing you're going to need is, along with your 1/2 inch or your 3/8 drive ratchet, you're going to need a 5/8 socket. That's to remove our oil plug. And another thing is a good handy flashlight or a little general just cheapo floodlight. Works great. And also, I've got an oil filter cutter. So when we get the filter off, we'll cut the filter out. We're going to open it up and see if there's any shiny parts in there. Remember, glitter is bad. One of the things also is it's that time when I change again, I'm going to take this and I'm going to do an oil sample. This little kit, it's pretty handy. Comes with a little pig mat, comes with a baggie to help seal it up, and of course our test bottle. That's right. Wonder what she's been doing behind my back. We're going to find out. So these are the tools we're going to need. And also, I would highly recommend, just as a cleaner upper, little brake clean. That's just to help clean up that old oil. And we're going to need some rags or paper towels, whatever your choice is to use. All right, now we're all set up, and what we got here is this is our drain plug. You see two plugs, this one and then this one. That one there is the farthest way over. It's countersunk. That is not your drain plug. That is the crank plug, and we are not going to mess with that. This is your drain plug. It's always the lowest point on the bottom. You see everything looks clean. I didn't really do any cleanup. Try to keep everything clean all the time. So let's jump right in and get that sucker out of there. So as you can see, we're good on there, and then we're get her broke loose, and then we'll get the nut out or bolt, and we'll let her drain. Alright, we got that plug out of there, and we're grabbing our bottle and we're getting ready to get our oil sample here. Now the proper way to do this oil sample is you want to go ahead and open up the plug, let a little bit drain out, and then go ahead and get your oil, and then get the proper amount you need. You know, depending on your manufacturer or who's doing your oil sample, you know, you want full bottle. You know, always recommended. That gives them plenty of work with, really. If they don't need it, they'll dump it out. So let's go ahead and make sure everything you got's clean too. You don't want to contaminate nothing. So let's get our plug out of here. Get that bottle out. Okay. Now, get it in position here. Alright, we're going to let her go a little. That looks like a nice little stream. So now what we're going to do, oh, look at that. Alright, got what I need. Let me just get that out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and let her drain out there. Alright, here's our drain plug. We're going to take a look at it real quick. As you can see, that's the old O-ring. That's why we ordered the service kit. And then we're looking directly down on top. That's a magnet. So just give her a little dot, just get that off. And what we want to look for is glitter, shavings, pieces of metal. And this one's good. I don't see anything in there. Let's give her a quick dab again. No. Alright, we'll clean that up and replace that O-ring. And I like that. I'm happy with it. Here's our dot on the paper. No metal shavings. No glitter. That's good. We'll clean that up. Alright, we got that oil drained out of there and got the pan drained into a proper receptacle to take and dispose of that used oil properly. Don't be dumping out in your yard and stuff. Take it down to Advance or your buddy that's got a garage and put it in the oil recycle. We don't want to be dumping that stuff around. So let's take a look and see. What we got here, that's the pan from all the old oil after it was drained, and I kept it out so you could take a look in that oil. And that black piece over there in the corner, that's in the pan. I use this pan for a lot of things. What we're looking at is I don't see any, that black dot, that's a burn from a welder. We don't see any metal or shiny bits. I see a little bit of dirt. There is some dirt in there. These little pieces over here, right here, that's some dirt. It's a little piece of dirt, little piece of dirt. So, got a little dirt in there, contamination when I was dropping the plug. That happens, but you know what we're looking at is we want to make sure it's all not glittery. Alright, you can see right there's our oil filter. It's black. Like I said, we went with chrome this year, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the old wrench out there, or put her on there, and then we'll just break her loose. Alright, got her loose there. I want to make sure I go over that. Make sure you got a pan there to the bottom. You can see my regulars hang down. Right down in there is a bolt that I'm pointing to. That is my motor mount bolt. And I've got to replace the front motor mount. It's giving me some problems. It is a wear item also, but they should last. But this is a high torque engine. So let's go ahead and get this spun off. And like I said, I just get her wormed out of there. Alright, here we go. We got that oil filter off of there. Got it cleaned up. And let's cut her open and see what we got. Now this is just a little handy dandy filter cutter wrench. You can pick these up anywhere. The filter, we just put it on there and we just take this and tighten her down, and Just give her some rolls and, you know, go with it. Just, you know, you're not going to try to cut it open all at once. If you've ever cut copper tubing, it's the same principle. You just give her a turn or two, give her a snug, give her a turn or two. Hear that? Crunch, crunch, crunch. Sound like can opener opening up. Alright. Let's give her a little unwind. We're just going to go ahead and take that oil filter top off. See, it does a good job cutting it off. It's kind of like opening up a can. You know, I always hate throwing these away. I always figure, oh, there's something I can do with that, but it's trash. Throw it away. And then what we're looking at is this is our diaphragm in the filter. It just helps with, you know, like a check valve. Hold a little in there so when you go and you start it up again, it's not dry. So, I mean, again, you always look at it. Oh, I can do something with that. If you cut a bunch of them, you'll have a bunch. Now that gets us to our filter. And you want to be careful pulling that out there. There's oil in there. So you see it pulling out now. Just kind of wiggle her out gently there. And what I'm going to do is we'll take this and get it out of our way here for a second. And then I'll go ahead and take this off. Alright, so as we talked about, you know, we've got our parts of our oil filter. And, you know, so we've got our filter itself, the diaphragm, the lid. And then we're just going to shake some of this oil out here. Give me a second there and we'll get it ready. Alright, now we got that filter apart. What we're going to do is we've took out the filter media. And we're just going to pull it apart, stretch it out, and right inside of those little webs on this back side, you got a mesh. It's hard to see. So there's like a little meshing, if you can see it, on the other side's paper. See the meshing? So what we want to do is just kind of look at that paper. Don't want to find any shavings of metal. And everything looks good. I don't see anything abnormal. So that's a good thing. So our filter media, it looks good. So we'll just go ahead and trash that. We've got our oil sample. And that oil sample will tell us a lot more about what's going on with the engine. And, you know, if we've got anything we don't see. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to get us one of our new course oil. And we're going to take it and we just want to get our finger in there, get our filter, and just rub all the way on the top of that filter there with oil. I pre-done it so we could go ahead and speed on along. Alright, next thing we want to do is we want to get our drain plug. I've already took the old washer off. Take one of our new washers. We're just going to pop it on there. I already put just a little smidgen of grease on the O-ring, or oil rather. Alright, so what we got pulled up here is the engine oil dipstick and the markings on it. You'll notice there's an A and a B. One setup is for a sidecar, the other is not for a sidecar, B being the sidecar equipped. So if you have a sidecar, right where it says genuine, there's a diamond. That's where you want to hot check. And then when we look at the top, A, no sidecar, which is what pretty much all of us have, you'll see where it says full hot check. And then about 3 X's down, we have cold check. So now we're over here where the dipstick is, and this is our transmission dipstick. This tells us what our oil level is in our transmission. This is the one we're concerned about today. This is our engine oil dipstick. And if you'll notice, when I pull it out, you'll see here bang, fill hot, and then there's like 3 X's, and then you see add quart. Well, it should be right at full hot, but we don't have no oil. Now, let's flip it over here on the other side, and then you see use genuine Harley oil, and then there's our genuine and our dot or diamond, and that signifies that that's full oil if we had a sidecar. All right, as you can see, our oil filter's on there. I went ahead and put it on, and it's hand tight, you know, I mean, just snug. Don't tighten that thing down too tight. Got our old trusty funnel out. Got our oil, 20W50, Sin 3. We're just going to go ahead and start putting her in. This is kind of a slow process. All right, that was the last of all our oil, and got that in there. So what we're going to do, just go ahead and take our oil filter or our oil filler funnel out. Screw this in here. You know, count 5. Just give her a second, you know, make sure she's greeting. And give her a quick check. Flip her where we need to be. And you can see right there, she says full hot. Now keep in mind, the engine has not been ran yet. We did just change a filter as well. So we're going to run it real quick when we get the chance. Check that oil again. All right, guys. So that's how we change our oil on our twin cam engines. And I hope that was helpful for you, and you at least learned something or maybe pick something up. There was a lot of detailed steps I do that a lot of people probably don't, but I just like to keep ahead of things. So I appreciate you watching, and you guys always remember, if the women don't find you sexy, they'll find you handy.